If I'm just thinking about clicks, it just kills my soul. Here's the best practices that they recommend that I don't follow on YouTube. I'm still able to do this as a career and I don't do these things. I mean, my experience is different. I've been doing this for a long, long time. Back in the early days, some of these things maybe I did do. And when you're first starting out as a YouTuber, maybe you should do some of these things. One thing people say you should do is be consistent.
Consistency of posting and consistency of quality.
I'm not really consistent, especially with upload scheduling. Sometimes I'm doing 4 videos a month. Sometimes I'm doing 1 video a month. When I upload, I try to do them on Fridays, but not always. I really don't care how long it's been since the last one. I did videos on WheezyWaiter every weekday early on. It was really more about my own creative energy. I want to create a thing and I don't want to dwell on it. So I'm going to create it and get it done, and then create the next thing and get it done. Find your niche. People say you should find a specific topic, like don't be too broad. True crime, games, or finance. I don't do that at all. I am all over the place subject matter wise, and I always have been, pretty much relying on my personality, I suppose, and my humor. These days, I tend to do a lot of health challenges, quitting things for a month or whatever, or advice about getting older, or like, you know, adulting, you could say. A word I don't really like. I don't know why I just said it. I don't want to pick a specific niche because that sounds boring. I would feel personally like it wouldn't take long before I exhausted everything I wanted to say about any topic. 3, dig into the data. Use your analytics.
Everyone's videos start like this, and then it levels off. So you want to reduce the amount of people that click off.
Look at your retention, your watch time, and figure out like where the drop off is, and avoid doing the things that make people stop watching. I do try to make the beginning of my videos interesting. I try to have a hook of some kind. I don't always, but sometimes I try to ask a question that I will answer later in the video. I don't look at how it worked. I don't analyze the data very much. Why the clicks are coming in and how long people are staying. Maybe my channel would be better if I did. But also, I don't want to be beholden to that. Modify the things I want to do for numbers. That also sounds less fun. I'll decide on a thumbnail and title before I start.
No matter where you are, the title and thumbnail is the most important part of YouTube.
If you can picture a good title and thumbnail that people will want to click, and then you make the video to that, that can work. It's a good way to choose a topic that will be engaged, that people will care about. That's useful advice, I think. I don't do it. If I'm just thinking about clicks, it just kills my soul. I don't know. Sometimes though, when I get to the end of after making a video, I get frustrated where I'm like, okay, this video, I put a lot of work into this video, and I'm struggling to come up with a title and a thumbnail for it that it'll be clickable, and I know not a lot of people are going to click on this video because it's just not a topic and a subject that people care much about, and it's hard to convey in a thumbnail and a title. And I get a little disappointed knowing that no one's going to click on it. I'm usually right, and I think like maybe I should have thought more about that early on. I get into that place sometimes, but I prefer that to then just to the alternative, which would be just always thinking about the thumbnail and the title. Because that to me is like, what are we even doing here? We're just playing number games. People say to be active on all the social media. I don't wake up thinking, well, I gotta post something. It's never like a part of my agenda of my job to be like, okay, now I gotta post to Instagram, I gotta post to this, I gotta post to that. I literally, most of the time, will throw a link on all the micro-blogging sites, and that's it. If it doesn't do well on YouTube, without hard work promoting it other places, I'm like, well, then maybe people don't even want to see it. I feel that way sometimes, even though I also conversely feel like frustrated if a video doesn't do well. So like I contain multitudes. I would rather try to live a normal life as a dad and a husband and someone who enjoys things rather than thinking about my online presence all the time. Follow your passion. That's a very common advice.
Do stuff you're passionate about. Don't worry about, oh, I want a profitable niche. Doesn't matter.
And I've probably even said that at some point. Maybe not in those words, but it's up to doobly you. Follow your doobly dreams.
Search your heart, your heart, your heart.
And I try to do that, but that's not really part of my agenda when it comes to my career. I'm not thinking, what am I passionate about? I'll do that. I love movies, I love TV, and I thus far have avoided a lot of talk about movies and TV, anything. I've done videos about certain shows and movies before, but rarely. I don't want to make my career reviewing movies and TV or analyzing them publicly. Maybe I'll change my mind about that. I'm doing a lot of like self-improvement stuff, exercise and eating well. I wouldn't call that a passion, more like it makes me feel good to know that I'm being healthy. I'm not like super obsessed with the optimum health. I'm just doing what I do to feel good. So I'm not, so I don't really follow my passion because I don't even know what that is most of the time. And if I do know what it is, it's probably film, and I don't want to make that my job unless I'm making a movie, which I'm working on a screenplay. So we'll see. Engage with your audience. I put that on the list as something advice I don't follow, even though I do respond to comments.
When you start to grow, make sure you're still responding to every single comment. It's just like if a customer walked into your store, you had a retail store, you would help them.
When I read a comment and I feel like, oh, this is an interesting comment and I have an interesting response, I will respond. I don't make it a part of my job. I don't think I need to spend an hour responding to comments. You have to maybe do a poll to see what your audience wants. I don't want to just be beholden to what everyone else wants me to make. I want to make what I want to make. I think people do make it an obligation to respond for business reasons, so that they gain more attention, so that they gain more engagement. I just don't do that. And I'm about to tell you some things that I actually do that work, and honestly, it's the second half of the video, and I think it's a better half of the video. So the first half, if you like that, you're gonna love it. First, I'm gonna thank the sponsor of this video, Oh, Beam Dream. I'm a dork. It's a cocoa that I actually drink that actually works with regard to helping me sleep. I have it nearly every night. It's delicious. It works. I have the cinnamon cocoa flavor right now, and that's really good, but there's a lot of other flavors.
You're not supposed to be here for this part because it's going to make a big mess.
No. Okay.
It warms up my tum-tum and helps me ease my way into sleep, and it helps me stay asleep.
Turns out it didn't make a big mess.
It also comes with a CBD version. I don't do the CBD. Let me be CB me. It's a CB-free country. Hang on, I gotta go take a CBP. My initials are CB, so every time I pee, it's CBP. In my old age, I have really started to struggle with sleep. Falling asleep, staying asleep, verbing asleep. I couldn't think of another verb. Have this stuff a little while before sleep, and it gets me relaxed. I actually want to go to sleep, which is part of the challenge, because I'm always staying up watching something stupid, like what's going on inside my neighbor's windows. No, TV shows. Why does it work? Because of the all-natural sleep supportive ingredients like apigenin, reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin, net weight, and fingernails. Nope, not net weight and fingernails. Those aren't part of the ingredients. That was just on the screen. Sorry. Also, no added sugar, only 15 calories, gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, non-GMO, keto-friendly, and Craig-friendly. Right, Dream?
That's absolutely correct, Craig.
Thanks, Dream.
I love you.
Okay, that's a bit much. So get the sleep you deserve with up to 35% off Dream. Just click the link in the doobly-doo, shopbeam.com/WheezyWaiter, and use the code Wheezy at checkout. You can also click the QR code on screen. Okay, moving on. Here's some things that I actually do that I think work, that I think help me. I was already planning on doing this video, and I saw a TikTok from Hank Green. Someone asked him about thumbnails and titles. I didn't know that he felt this way. This is exactly how I feel about what works on YouTube. Thumbnails and titles, people are overly obsessed with perfecting them, and they're not the number one priority for me. The actual subject matter of the thing you're making is the most important thing, which seems obvious, but it's not. I think a lot of people think they're trying to figure out the thumbnail title tricks, or making the video to the thumbnail and title idea they have, which can work, but I think the reason it works is because if you think of a thumbnail and title that works, you're forcing yourself into a topic that works. I do a video about sleep. It tends to do better. Everyone sleeps, and everyone cares about sleep. I do a video about drinking water. Everyone drinks water. I do a video about losing weight. That is a common thing that a lot of people care about. There's subject matters that inherently a lot of people are drawn to. I don't think you can thumbnail title your way out of a bad topic. To an extent, maybe you can. You can get a few clicks. You can get some clicks. It probably won't end up leading to a career or a lot of subscribers or anything if you're just tricking people with thumbnails and titles. Even I would say if the topic is good enough, the thumbnail and title could suck and the video could still do well. But then when I think of a good topic, I do think about the thumbnail and title. One of my goals in my thumbnails, if I have words in them, which I usually do, I put the blue bar behind the letters to make them easy to read, and I generally try to put the words in front of nothing. Like I don't want to cover like complicated things so that it's very clear. The words are very clear in the thumbnail, and it's very obvious what it's about. Unambiguous. Or sometimes it can be ambiguous, and that's part of what makes it intriguing. But I always want to make sure that I have the topic at hand to back it up. Next thing on my list that I wrote here is be honest. I just try to be honest. This whole video is just me talking off the top of my head honestly. Especially if I don't know what to do next, or if I'm struggling with what to write. I often find that the reason I'm struggling is because I'm afraid to say something, or I'm not thinking about how I actually feel. So if I just think about how I actually feel and just try to be as honest about how I actually feel, I generally can write it better, and it generally turns out better. Be honest. Don't try to hide behind cleverness or trying to look smart. I think there's a tendency or an urge or a temptation, that's the word I'm looking for, to make the results of whatever thing, like if I quit added sugar for a month, to make the results like, this changed my life, even though the results are actually kind of meh. I think subconsciously, a lot of people can tell when someone's being honest. I try to be funny. That's not something everyone does. That's something I inherently do. I don't even think I consciously do it. I'm just always trying to make jokes. Not in this video as much, I guess. If I'm making any piece of entertainment, I just have to put jokes in it. I have to fight the urge to put jokes in things because I do it too much. I try to bring it back. I think that's probably one of, if not the thing that has gathered my audience for my career, is my humor. Be useful. This goes back to the topic. Think about a topic that people will care about. How do I convey my experience in a way that will be useful for people? Most recent WheezyWaiter video is the weight loss one. I know that a lot of people are concerned about losing weight because there's a lot of benefits to losing weight. So then I just thought, well, I've attempted it for years now. Some success, some failures. I'm just going to convey my honest advice about it as honestly as possible, because that's something that I don't think there is a lot of out there. I think a lot of people, when they talk about losing weight, it's generally sponsored by someone who's promising something, and they're generally giving cliche advice or advice that doesn't come from experience. It's more like in theory, or what you should do versus how it actually works in reality. So I just tried to do as realistic possible thing as I could, be useful. Probably the last thing I'll say is, like, I care a lot about pacing. Good pacing. For me, it
tends to be fast pacing. It doesn't
have to be fast pacing.
Part of the pacing, I guess I would put structure in there as well. Like, I work really hard on the beginning of the video, harder than I do with the end of the video. I'm creating the premise. It's really important to make the audience understand the premise before you go through whatever it is. People need reasons to care. So I try to give people a reason to care as much as possible at the beginning, with as much B-roll or whatever is required for the explanation. All the technical polish that's required as long as it's making the explanation better. I don't really care that much about technical polish otherwise, but I try to fill it with as much useful information, and if it's not useful, it better be funny. I edit a lot. I love video editing. Steven, my assistant editor, helps me with the editing, but that's it. That's my advice. So I'm gonna wink right now. I hope this helped. I hope you enjoyed my rambly, honest talk about what I don't care about that maybe I should, and what I do care about that I also probably should.